This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to December. Can you believe it already? The month of Christmas has arrived. We're going to kick it off in fine style today with our tag Christmas party at noon. We're going to have catering by Olive Garden, and then we're going to have a word from our sponsors, and then play some games, get to know each other, and give some gifts away. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope all of you guys are on the RSVP list and are strong and healthy enough to come. By the way, I've had several cancellations already this morning, with people responding to my text message and saying, Frank, I said I was coming, but I'm sick. So if you're not on the list and you're not sick, we can probably find room for you if you're able to come at noon. So let's see how things are going. Let's do just a little bit of a round robin. What's working? What's not? What's frustrating? Highlights. We can do big picture items a little bit later in the conversation, but what's happening right now in the last few days with you, your prospects and clients? All right, Rochelle, you got the big smile. What's going on in your real estate world?
Pretty much the same, not much. So I'm just working on marketing. I'm working on marketing, and I'm noticing that people are starting to either lease or put their places on the market over here in my subdivision.
Good, good. Has anybody noticed an uptick in buyer interest with the downtick in interest rates? Because in the last week, I don't know if you're following, interest rates went from about 7.7 down to about 6.5. That's pretty significant. In 1 week, that's massive. Anybody seen any results of that?
A little bit.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you, Rochelle, working on her marketing. Who am I going to pick on? Judith. I don't think you've said much recently. Judith, tell us what's going on in your real estate world. J.A. Judith Alberon. She's probably in the kitchen making. Oh, there she is. Judith, go ahead.
She's cooking for us.
I figured you'd gone to get some peanut butter toast or something.
No, I just don't know how to work this. Um, it's slow, Frank.
It's slow. That seems to be that's our double theme, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about that. In fact, let me just use that as a segue to what's on my mind this morning, and hopefully it will help. And to get things started, I'm going to share a page. I'm going to read it as quickly as I can. But this is from the book of Romans in the New Testament, chapter 16. I'm just going to read through it as fast as I can. And when I'm done, I want you to tell me what is so unusual about these verses and how it can impact the situation that we're having right now. Okay? And I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to kind of skim through and hit the parts that I think are relevant. So this is the Apostle Paul writing to the church at Rome. And he says, I commend to you our sister Phoebe. Greet Priscilla and Aquila. Greet my dear friend Epaenetus. Greet Mary, who worked very hard for you. Greet Andronicus and Junia, my fellow Jews who've been in prison with me. Greet this is a tough one. Greet Ampliatus, my dear friend. Greet Urbanus, our co-worker. Greet Apelles. Greet Aristobulus and his household. Greet Herodian. Greet those of the household of Narcissus. Greet Tryphena and Tryphosa, those women who work hard in the Lord. Greet my friend Persis, another woman who's worked very hard. Greet Rufus and his mother. Greet Asyncrititus, Phlegon, Hermes, Petrobus, Hermas, and other brothers and sisters with them. And here's the last one. Greet Philologus, Julia, Nereus, and his sister, and Olympus, and all the Lord's people who are with them. Oh, I can't leave out the next part. Greet one another with a holy kiss. That's how he finishes. All right. What do all those verses have in common?
Greet.
Greet. Who is he greeting?
Everybody.
There you go. Everybody. It's like an encyclopedia of everybody Paul knew. But here's the very interesting part. Paul had never been to Rome. Never been there. He was hoping to go. How in the world did he know all these people? And I think the answer is he did not know all of these people. Now, he may have known some from other journeys, and they may have moved to Rome so that he actually had met them face to face. But the vast majority of these people, highly unlikely that Paul ever had met them before. So how in the world did he get all these names? It's not a theological question. It's just a people question.
Networking.
There you go. Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
Networking. Paul is the greatest missionary evangelist in the history of the world. Took his story all over the known world. How, and just look at it from a pure organizational or business perspective, how in the world did he do that? One man all over Europe, all over Asia, before the internet, before airplanes. You either had to walk, ride a donkey, or get on a ship to go anywhere. How did he do it? What was his key to success? Let me phrase it another way. When the market was down and all factors were aligned against him, how in the world was he so successful? I think we just heard it. Paul was a people person. And before he ever arrived in town, I'm sure he's writing this letter. I don't know where he's at. Maybe he's in Ephesus or Jerusalem. But he says to his friends, hey, you know anybody in Rome? Well, yeah, what about Andronicus? That guy's a really hard worker in the Lord. Oh, what about Persepolis? He's also a Jew. And Paul is taking notes. And he is putting as many names as possible in this letter because he's telling them, I'm coming to Rome. I'm going to come see you guys. And he is trying to prepare a very warm welcome for himself. Okay, now let's talk real estate for a moment. What is the message there for us? How, when factors are aligned against us, the market's not supporting us, how can we break through and have a massive impact? Be overwhelmed with new business. What did you learn there?
Asked our
Mindset.
sphere of influence.
Mindset. Kevin says mindset. Was that Mandy jumping in?
Yeah, I was saying ask your sphere of influence who they know
Oh,
that
gosh.
in
Yes.
your area that might help or that's looking to buy, sell, or
Yes.
lease.
Yes. Yes. Use the existing network you have to grow your network. Now, I came across Romans 16 this morning just in my normal devotional life. This was not planned for this conversation, but I want to share with you how in the last few weeks I have been living out this message that I'm sharing with you right now. Where everybody's business is off, revenues are down dramatically. We all have to adapt and overcome. And as I've shared with you, one of the ways that I'm adapting and overcoming is that I'm starting to produce and I'm really focusing on the mortgage piece. I'm going to personally originate loans. But I don't want to reach out to my tag agents because I've already been promoting our loan officers to you. So I need to go beyond my sphere. If I'm going to find some business of my own and not compete with my own agents or my own loan officers, how am I going to do that? So I reached out to a key person in my sphere. Thank you, Mandy. And I said, who do you know who I could talk to? And he was very gracious and gave me a list of 30 people. He said, these 30 people are people who know people who need loans. And I've systematically, this is my third week in a row, I've been calling every one of them, telling them about our mutual friend, all the kind things he said about them. Did you hear what Paul said? All the kind things that he had heard about these people. He didn't know it personally. and I'm asking them to have coffee with me or have lunch with me. And my goal, which I've met 3 weeks in a row now, is to meet with 5 of them every week. Not all 30 in the first week, just 5 a week. And at that pace, it will take me about 6 weeks to go through the list. Do you know that I'm in my 3rd week? I've already gotten multiple loan applications, have my first contract scheduled for closing on December 23rd. How did that happen just out of the blue? It happened because unknowingly I put into practice a principle that the Apostle Paul understood very well. If you want to grow your network, you reach out to your network and you ask them to introduce you to their network. Does that make sense? That's so simple. And I was just so excited to see that validated, excuse me, in Romans 16 this morning. Now, let me summarize this for you. I believe that your income, your real estate sales business, is the direct result of 2 things: the volume of your business. Number 1, how many people you know. Number 2, how well you know them. Now, obviously, as Rochelle mentioned earlier, you got to be marketing to them. You have to be reminding them you are a caring, competent real estate agent who's willing and able to help them with their real estate needs. But if you're doing that really well with 10 people, you're going to starve to death. If you're doing that really well with 100 people, you're going to have a great living. And if you're doing that really well with 200 people, you're going to need a team. You'll need at least a buyer's agent and an admin to help you deal with all the business that's coming in. So Rochelle, you were right. You have to market. You can't just know people, and it's not enough for them to like you, trust you, want to hang out with you. They would call you if they had a flat tire on the highway. That's the baseline. You have to build that kind of relationship, but it has to go beyond that to your marketing. They understand that you're a real estate agent and that their family is going to be in the best hands when they're in your hands when they have a real estate need. So it's how many people you know and how well you know them. We've talked about this before, about going wide and going deep. So my encouragement to Rochelle and to who was it that jumped in earlier? Judith, who jumped off. Now she's in the kitchen getting her peanut butter toast. My encouragement there she is. She came back. My encouragement is think about who you know. Get them all into your database, all their contact information, and then reach out to them and ask for introductions into their sphere. Now, let's talk about that for a moment. What would that practically look like? Because I don't want this just to be theoretical stuff. If you wanted to get into somebody else's sphere of influence, what is a very practical way that you could ask them to do that? I got some ideas, but I want to hear yours.
Well,
All right,
Frank, I've
Go ahead.
actually done that. And I just reached out to like 10 of my closest. I started out reaching out to 10 of my closest friends,
Yes.
and most of them don't live in Texas, but people know folks that live in Texas. Everybody knows somebody that lives in Texas. So I just asked them to send me, 2 or 3 names of people that they
Yes.
knew in Texas, and I ended up with a list of like 20 additional people that I didn't know.
Yes. Well, fantastic. So now we need to 10x that, right? We need to turn 20 into 200. But you're doing exactly the right thing. That's the right strategy. I'm sure everybody's heard of this, but so few agents are doing it. When you have a closing, particularly of a buyer, host a housewarming party for them and let them know I'm gonna bring some drinks and some food. Why don't you invite 30 of your closest friends and family, and let's celebrate your new home. That immediately gives you access not just to their larger sphere, but to their core sphere. These are their closest family and friends. And if they stand up, and of course you're going to talk to them in advance, coach them about what you want from them, they're going to stand up and introduce you as the host of the party and the best realtor in Texas. And of course you're getting all their contact information. That means now they're getting your weekly e-newsletter. That means now they're getting your monthly postcard. Now it means they're getting your phone calls twice a year. You have very effectively enlarged your sphere. Okay, I shared an idea. I want to hear one from you. What's another way that you could expand your network by getting into your network's network? A real practical, fun way to do that. I like the thinking pose, Kevin. And Blythe, she's into. I guess when we squeeze the chin and purse the lips with the finger, we're really focusing. All right, I'm going to stir the pot a little bit more. I'm going to give you another idea. Do you have anybody in your network right now who is a small business owner or a salesperson? Somebody say yes. Yes. Right? So many of our people in our network either own their own small business or they're salespeople. You can be the hub of a powerful business networking group simply by inviting them to join you at, the Denny's private dining room, or the one at IHOP, or the one at Spring Creek Barbecue for a breakfast or lunch business networking mastermind. And by the way, do business people and salespeople like networking with others who can buy their products? There are billions of dollars being spent every year on just such groups. BNI is the biggest of them, but there are dozens and dozens of networking groups operating in the Woodlands alone. So that would mean hundreds in the Houston metro area. But most of them have fees, and some of them are quite expensive. So imagine what would happen if you invited your network to come together to network with each other in a business networking group. I did this, by the way, years ago when I was a RE/MAX agent. Jenny, you may remember this, I don't know, but I started a group called T-Rex. I thought that was pretty cute, and it stood for Texas. What was it? Texas Referral Exchange. T-Rex. That's it. Texas Referral Exchange. And so I got together about 15 salespeople, small business people in my network, and we met at a breakfast restaurant, had a little private room. I think we met once a week, or maybe it was once a month. But everybody had to bring, when you came, you had to bring a referral for somebody else. And what happens is, the whole point of this is growing your network by getting into their network. You're going to be getting a referral every week. And quite often it was to another business person who could use your service. And so now every week your network grows, because if you're giving a referral, you're likely to receive a referral. And as a real estate agent, you will get more than your fair share of referrals. Because we may not know when our friends have a plumbing problem or need an electrician, but we absolutely know when they're thinking about buying or selling a house. So in networking groups, real estate agents always benefit more than anybody else. Well, you may not be able to get into the BNI group that you want in because they already have a real estate agent, but you can create your own. It went very well. That networking group lasted for about a year, and I think I only closed it down when I started Abbey Realty, and my focus had to change. All right, I've given you two good ideas: host housewarming parties be the host of your own business networking mastermind. You can even use T-Rex. I never copyrighted the phrase, but I had a cute little dinosaur as our
Making it
logo. You like
fun.
it?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a T-Rex hat. You watch. Next time you see me, it's on like Donkey
I
Kong coming up.
I can't believe nobody else had ever thought of that. Texas Referral Exchange, T-Rex. It's so cool. All right. Well, I won't beat the horse. We've beat him pretty hard, but I hopefully have spurred some of your thinking this morning, validated by no less than the Apostle Paul, that if we want to expand our networks and be more effective, we need to get into the networks of our network. Okay? All right. So
Hey,
now,
Frank, I
yes,
got
sir.
one,
Yeah.
and y'all maybe have seen me do this, but I have a camera, and I like to film little impromptu interviews with people, and so went to it was a realtor self-defense class a couple weeks ago, and I told the guy, hey, come back and I'll do an interview with you. And I just came back and said, this is my buddy Joe Morris. He runs this thing and, self-defense for you. 2 or 3 minutes. We did a couple takes. I'm not an editor, so it's one take or nothing. So there you go. Posted those, and he posted them, and they just got a lot of traction. And the guy was so appreciative. It took this much of my time and effort to promote his small business. I mean, really, just that simple. And if I can do this, y'all can do this. And if you have any questions, I'd love to help you with it. But that's one thing I like to do. It's like Frank's idea of get with a small business person and say, hey, how can I? My standard line, if y'all know, maybe you don't, I don't know, but perhaps I got it from BNI, but is what would be a good referral for you? How can I
Yes.
help you today? And
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And it just comes that way. So there you go.
Yeah. And I mentioned your network can grow because you're going to be getting referrals every week, but your network will also grow as the networking group grows. You may only know, let's just say 8 to 10 people in your current sphere who are candidates for this kind of mastermind group. Well, once you start meeting, that can be one of the focuses. Who else do we know? We don't have a plumber in the group. We don't have an insurance agent in the group. Who knows one? And that group can
Ready.
grow to 20, 25. How many people have been or are involved in networking groups right now? What's the biggest group meeting you've been in one of those?
The Reveille group on Friday morning that meets at Kokomo's, and y'all are invited. You know that skydive place that's on I-45. It kind of closed with the plague,
Yes.
but it's right there.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
Mexican joint, and this Reveille group meets every Friday morning. They gather at 7. They kick at 7:30. All are welcome. I think it's $5 for the meeting. Maybe it's free the first time or two. I don't know. You can have breakfast. A lot of fun, and you get to go around, and they'll say you got 20 seconds, and if you go long, they squeak you with a little duck. Good fun. Meet a bunch of people. All good fun.
7 o'clock on Fridays. Okay. So how many people show up, Kevin?
There's 30.
Okay.
Yeah, easy.
Okay. Kaboom. There you go. Go one time, you can add 30 people to your network, right?
Yeah.
And of course, get involved. It's not just going wide, it's going deep. So once you get a name, once you have an introduction, then you have to build the relationship. That's what Paul was doing in Romans 16. He was going wide and calling them out, but he planned to go deep when he arrived. That's what he was setting himself up for. Okay, awesome. All right, so what else is going on in your real estate world? Questions, problems, issues, what's working, what's not, new things you want to explore? What's going on?
I just have a listing that's just sitting.
Okay. Okay. Like you say that like it was a personal failure. We can
It
ask.
feels like one.
It does. I know. But if we had 10 listing agents on the screen right now, they would all be telling the same story.
Yeah.
So,
It's just
so
I would love some input on how to keep my sellers from getting too discouraged or like, you know what I mean? So
yes.
we've dropped the price twice now. And we'll see what happens this weekend, but you know, they're getting a little anxious.
So I have an
Um,
idea for you. Oh,
okay.
go ahead, finish, and
No,
then
that
I'll
was it.
jump in.
That was it.
So, Blythe, do you have a written marketing strategy of what you do to sell homes?
Yes, sir.
Approximately how many items are on that list?
I don't know. Like
Mine was Frank's
30
14
maybe?
point. Okay, right. So mine was 14-point proven plan.
Mhm.
Yours is 30. How long have you had this listing?
Almost 30 days.
Have you implemented all 30 marketing strategies? Okay. So then I'm going to say you need 40. And,
Oh,
and here and here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. And this is your question was not how can I sell the house, but how can I keep my sellers encouraged and keep their spirits up? Here's what I found that worked for me the best. On my marketing plan, I didn't implement everything day one. I implemented the most important things, beautiful photographs and a great description on the MLS. That is 95% of what's going to, and price it right. That's what's going to get the home sold. But I had all these other things that I, promised that I was going to do as well. And I would do one a week.
mm,
And so I was able to come back to my sellers each week, Monday or Tuesday, whenever I made my weekly call. And, we might not have had any showing activity, might have held an open house and didn't turn up any prospects. But I'd say, well, let me tell you what we're going to do this week. This week, I'm actually going to create a website for your home. And then I'm going to promote it on social media. And then next week, I can say, you know what? I think we can attract more viewers if I make a virtual tour of your home. I'm going to do that and I'm going to get it out on social media. The next week, you know what? This is a 3-day weekend. People are going to be out and about. The weather looks good. I think I'm going to host an open house on Saturday and on Sunday if that works for your schedule. So keep stuff in your back pocket. And it may be stuff that you're already doing, but maybe you haven't told them about it. Maybe it's as simple as this. We've been on the market 30 days. I'm going to go in and refresh the description of your home.
mhm.
I'm going to rewrite it in a way that may be attractive to our target audience, or will just catch somebody else's attention. Think of something new or something different you can do every week just to convey to your sellers that you've not gone AWOL.
Right.
It will make you feel much better. It will give you something positive to talk to them about, and it will assure them that if their home is not selling, it's not because you're not trying. And that
Yeah.
will keep them in the game.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? Okay. My pleasure. All right. Who else? What's going on in your world? Jenny, you're brave enough to
I
turn
have a
that
tip.
on. Talk
I
to
got
us for a minute.
a tip for Blythe. Yeah, I got a tip for Blythe. So
Oh,
I
okay.
tried
Hold on,
playing.
Jenny. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, sorry. So I tried playing catch with the dog the other day, but the dog wasn't in the yard. So I kept throwing the ball, and nobody would bring it back to me. And that's kind of where we are right now. You got a beautiful listing, and there's no buyers coming. So you can keep throwing balls. But here's a suggestion: is it in Tomball or where's your listing?
Yeah, it's in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Why don't you invite any of your famous age friends? Me, and we'll come and do a tour of the house, and you can be given the tour and stuff like this, and then you can post that and share that, just like Frank's saying, and let your sellers know, hey, I'm working this. I'm bringing people to the house, letting other people know, and it'll keep a little wind in their sails. Sometimes when the wind dies, a sailboat becomes slightly becalmed, and everything's perfect. We're just waiting for the wind to pick up again. That interest rate drop is big. I've gotten a little bit more interest. People are waking up. The stock market moved big yesterday. That's encouraging for people's psychology, even though it's separate from our biz. But people, they got psyched out a little bit, right? And just let them know that you've got the sails all set. You're just ready for the breeze to pick up again. But doing a video tour, and I'd be glad to come out there with you and help film it or whatever is just my suggestion.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Okay, Jenny, we're pitching you the ball.
Hey, Jenny.
Okay, so I have two things quickly. So Blythe, a suggestion. Okay, so open houses are awesome. You can pick up buyers and you're showing your sellers that you're working. However, most agents tend to just, put the announcement on HAR and, do a few posts on social media, and that's kind of it. But it's almost the same thing. I compare it to having a house party. And then you get all the food prepared. The house looks beautiful. It smells fantastic, but you forgot to invite people. And you forgot to tell mom, you forgot to tell your friends, you forgot to tell sister. And so you're just like, but I prepared all of this and no one showed up. So how about the farmer's market is on Saturday. Maybe you could create a few flyers, and as people are walking by, hey, I'm just here to invite you. You're not buying, you're not bothering anybody, you're just inviting. Hey, I'd like to invite you to an open house. And then they're gonna say, oh, you're a realtor and you're out here inviting people? Yeah, sure, I am. And they're gonna say, well, fantastic, I want you as my realtor. So it'll be like a double situation. And plus you're a local expert. So maybe that'll be something. And then you can tell your sellers, yeah, I actually went to the farmer's market Saturday. I passed out all of these 100 flyers. And in my experience, 100 invitations and 100 phone calls, even to the circle, like another community that might want to upgrade or another community might want to downsize, is the key. So if you do like those circle calls and all you're calling is, hi, this is Blythe with EXP Realty, and I'm just calling to invite you to an open house on Sunday from 2 to 3, and we'd love to see you there. We're not trying to buy anything. No, it's okay. I'm just inviting you. So if you know anyone or yourself you'd like to come out, we'll see you there. Hang up. It's like you don't even care if they even answer. Leave a message. I used to do that, and it really did work. It's kind of scary at the beginning, but when you realize that you're really just a servant and you're trying to help your sellers have people come over and invite, but then you're just really inviting, you're not selling anything. It's just an invitation. It makes it easier and it makes it faster, and you can just, script it, but it's very few words. It won't even take a minute, a phone call just to leave the message or just talk to them. And that's it. And then I talked to a friend, and he owns a team. They're really killing it with the YouTube videos, but it's on sections, and it's more, they get a lot of leads, but it's more oriented, not just kind of like we're going to go to a restaurant. It's kind of touring a community and then just talking, getting in front of the camera and getting people to know you. And so they get tons of leads that come in, and actually people, punch in their information, please call us. And they have the call to action at the end. So maybe, I definitely want to get out of my comfort zone and just kind of do my area and see how that works. But that's what I got.
Thanks, Jenny.
Frank, you're on mute.
You all don't read my hands very well. What's up with that? So, hey, I have another idea for Blythe. Oh yeah, girl, we're gonna get that sold. This is a new thing that I'm doing. Can you read that?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, easy approval today. This is actually a third-party owner financing program. So what is this? This is a rider that can go on your yard sign, or I've got some larger ones that can just go on their own little wire frame in the yard next to your yard sign. But these little riders generate an average of 5 to 10 buyer leads per listing per month. And this is another thing that you could tell your seller you're doing. They are not doing the owner financing. The way it works is a buyer calls this number, they get approved to purchase any home on the market. And then it's actually an investor, a well-qualified investor who's got good credit, good assets, who buys the home. And then after the purchase is done, they sell it back to the actual buyer who's going to live there on a wraparound mortgage. This is designed to bring people into the market who cannot qualify for traditional financing. And I've got one right now. He's from Mexico. He put a brand new home under contract, $450,000. It's going to be finished and closing in March. And then he discovered he couldn't qualify for financing. Looky there. Yeah, Kevin's ready to rock and roll. He's got one of the big ones. So big or little. And he got approved for this. So I don't know how brave he was to put a home under contract when he didn't even know how he was going to pay for it. But it was actually Adam Olson who reached out to me and said, Frank, we don't know what to do. And I looked at his situation. I'm like, there's nothing we can do in terms of traditional financing, but I do have a way to do that. So Jenny, I love the question. I literally have 100 of these and 100 of the full size ones like Kevin showed you sitting in my office. So if you're going to come to the Christmas party or anytime you're going to be in the office, just let me know. And if I'm tied up, just come in my office and snag them. They're sitting in a corner. If you're going to take a big one like what Kevin showed, I've got boxes of wire frames, and you're welcome to do that. What's going to happen, Kevin showed you one from one of our loan officers, Brandon Levy. This one actually has my name on it, and this phone number rings to me. That phone number rings to Brandon. But what happens is we get the call. We make sure they're going to qualify either for traditional financing, and if so, we'll get them qualified for that. If they don't qualify, then we'll get them connected with this third-party owner financing company. And if they get qualified with that, then their investor is going to come in, we'll make an offer on the home and purchase it. So the call doesn't go directly to you, it comes to the loan officer. Yes, Kevin?
You know, we all have some friends. Texas is the magnet that it is, and it attracts people from all over the country, all over the world. And some of our foreign friends, they do have some challenges sometimes buying real estate. And this is the specific example that Frank cited. So I just would encourage you. So who do you know from Mexico or from Europe that might be here? You know, you could have somebody that's visiting here from Germany for the holidays, and you can tell them, hey, you could actually buy a property. All they really need is the money. You know, if they can put 20% down and are willing to accept a slightly higher rate, keep in mind, nobody in the world, y'all got to know this. We are standing on top of Mount Everest here. No one in the world has mortgages with leverage and the ability to buy homes like we do. If this were a knife, we would be on the top tip of the blade, the biggest blade in the world. And we take it for granted. We're moaning and groaning that rates moved 1% or 2%. Are you kidding me? Sorry. Don't want to get going,
sell it.
But we got something here. And, you know, we got something here.
Yeah, we do. So just to put some specifics behind that, my borrower is from Mexico, has no U.S. earned income. That's why he doesn't qualify. A foreign national can come in and buy an investment property here with no U.S. income, but if they're going to own or occupy it, they have to have 2 years of U.S. tax returns. And that was the problem that my guy was in. And so we got him into this program, and he'll be able to move his family into that home in March. So, well, guys, I'm actually going to pull the plug a little early on this call today. And that's because we're doing that little thing called the Christmas party. And I've got my work clothes on, as you can see. We have a whole bunch of work to do to get set up for you guys to be here. We're expecting about 70, actually about 80 people with our vendors. Might want to ride on top of someone else's car because we only have about 60 parking spaces. I don't know how that's going to work out, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And I got to go get ready for it or I'm going to be super stressed. So love you guys and hope to see you here in about 2 hours and 20 minutes. All right. Bye-bye. God bless.